How about that? An abandoned boat right here in Georgia. Looks pretty abandoned to me, doesn't it? Maybe all we have to do is throw a line on it and tow it away. Well, maybe, but probably not. Hi, Joe Tringali here from the Academy of Yachting. We're visiting my son and his family here in, what's the name of this town? Fayetteville, Georgia. And this is a beautiful lake right behind his house, and of course, beautifully kept lawns, and the person across the lake there has a boat right up on a very well manicured lawn. And might possibly think that, gosh, nobody's using that boat. It must be abandoned. Why don't we just tow it away? It'll be salvaged. Sorry, it doesn't work that way. This happens to be something that I know quite a bit about for a very good reason. Back in my days in the Attorney General's office, there was a fellow, I forget his name, but he performed salvage on a vessel because he kept going past it on a regular basis, and this boat was just kind of laying there and nothing happening. So if you're going to talk in nautical terms, he made fast a line. If you want to talk like regular people, he threw a rope around it and towed it home and got arrested and charged with grand larceny. And then he made the second mistake. The second mistake was he represented himself in a trial. And he threw around these words about salvage and federal law and all that stuff. And the jury was out for all of 10 minutes or so, and they convicted him. And he got sent off to prison. And then he appealed. Mistake number 3, he represented himself, and he wrote a legal brief all about salvage and whatever he happened to think about. And it came to our office. I was in criminal appeals at the time, and the bureau chief who did the assignment of cases saw the word BOAT. It wasn't about rape or murder or, all of those usual things. No drugs involved. It was just a boat. And so the decision was made, well, give it to Tringali. He's a captain or commodore or commander or some damn thing. Who the hell knows? He must know something about boats. Here, Joe, this case is now yours. Go find out about salvage. The fact is, I didn't know a damn thing about salvage. I mean, I had some general idea, but I didn't really understand the law. I do now, and I'm about to tell you. Salvage does not mean finders keepers. Salvage is a very technical concept. It's laid down, that means, according to lawyers, it was set out in a case called In re Blackwell, the United States Supreme Court. And Blackwell was decided, get this, in 1869. It is still good law in this country, and it is followed, and it simply restates concepts that are in use throughout the world. Okay, so what are the 3 things you need to have a salvage claim? First of all, you have to have a vessel that is actually in peril. Secondly, you have to have a vessel that cannot save itself. And we're going to get into that in a minute, and that's why a big question comes up about, did the captain ask for assistance? Okay, so you have to have actual peril, you have to have a ship that cannot save itself, and finally, you have to have success in performing the salvage. Okay? Now, let's take these one at a time. Is the vessel actually in danger? Well, the wind is blowing, the wind is howling, the rain's coming down. This thing looks like it's being blown up on a lee shore. It's in danger. You think. Question number 2, can it save itself? And here's where this gets interesting. If you read a lot about salvage, one of the factors that comes into play is did the captain ask for assistance? He doesn't have to, or she doesn't have to, whoever the captain is, does not have to ask for assistance, but if that person asks for help, that sort of takes that second issue off the table. Now you don't have to prove that the vessel could not save itself, because you could say, well, they asked for assistance. I provided it. I don't have to prove anything else. Number 3, how much danger was involved and what was the skill and expertise that you used in saving the vessel? Okay, let's say you've done all those things and you tow this vessel back to Palm Beach Sailing Club and you're tied up at the dock and, you know, everybody's at the bar having a glass of Coca-Cola, and now decisions have to be made. You own the boat, right? After all, you salved it. No. Now you, as the salvor, have to bring an action in federal court, United States District Court. And you bring the action against the vessel. It's called libeling a vessel. You libel that vessel. So you're suing the vessel, okay? And it's up to you to prove those factors that I just talked about. That it was in danger, it was unable to save itself, and you used a great deal of skill and expertise. In overcoming the danger to bring that vessel to shore, to safety. After all those factors are considered, the judge makes an award. And here's where the movies come in, right? Because, oh, okay, well, you're the salvor, so now you own the boat. No, not necessarily. The court makes an award based on the 3 factors that I just talked about. And at that point, somebody, the owner of the vessel presumably, makes a decision. Is the award worth paying? The award is for $50,000. The boat's worth $25,000. The owner says, here you go. Here's the title. Sayonara. Does the owner owe you another $25,000? No, because the lawsuit was brought against the vessel. So you now own the vessel. Congratulations. Suppose the reverse is true. Suppose the vessel's worth $100,000 and the judgment is for $10,000. You have a judgment against the vessel for $10,000, and now you go to a lawyer and you go through the necessary steps to convert that judgment into money. That's the way salvage works. Okay, the one thing I want to mention, you know, I'm always here promoting my own books, of course. Wouldn't you? This is one of them, You, Your Club, and the Law. By the way, this has a lot of stuff in here that's very applicable to all clubs, okay? It's not just about salvage and boats. It's about things like director's liability and contracts and all that other stuff. However, it does mention another book, and I want to tell you about that right now. There's a book called In Peril, A Daring Decision, A Captain's Resolve, and the Salvage That Made History. The book is by Captain Skip Strong, and it's available from places like Amazon. When you go on Amazon and you look up In Peril, look me up too, because you might be interested in some of my books. What the heck, right? Let me tell you a little bit about this case. The fuel tank for the space shuttle was manufactured in Louisiana, and it had to be brought up to Cape Canaveral, to the Kennedy Space Center, where of course it would be attached to the fuel shuttle and to the space shuttle and filled with fuel. It was in tow. It was on a barge, and it was being towed by a tugboat around the Gulf, around the tip of Florida, and up along the East Coast. The tugboat got the contract because it was the lowest bidder. I'm not going into that. I'm not going to say anything about that, Big Dave. Let me just point out that, I was also mayor of my city for a while, and I can tell you the lowest bidder is not always the best bidder, but we won't go there. Anyway, this tow got into peril off Fort Pierce, Florida, where there is a very, very dangerous shoal. And because the towboat didn't have enough power, and because the space shuttle tank was so heavy, it started to get pushed into the shoal. Skip Strong was the captain of a tanker. This tanker went to the assistance of the towboat, made fast a line, that means threw a rope on it, and under full power kept going out to sea, into the sea, to keep the boat and the space shuttle tank off the shoal. It was eventually, of course, the storm ended, and the space shuttle tank was saved. That salvage case led to the largest salvage award in the history of the United States. Get that book, In Peril, Skip Strong. It's a fascinating story. It tells you a lot about navigation, tells you a lot about salvage, and it does a great job of explaining the law. Exciting book. Okay, next time we'll cover more about you, your club, and the law. We'll probably cover something about directors and officers' liability or some other thing, whatever Big Dave tells me to do. And we'll do that indoors where we don't have all the cicadas and all that other stuff. And that'll make Big Dave very happy. So for now, goodbye from Fayetteville, Georgia, and we'll see you back in Florida.